So two nations may fall within this video. That's Carthage and Austria. Poland is absolutely dominating Austria. In like 2 or 3 turns, they're about to take over all of the Austrian cities. And then we have kind of this massive mishmash, something that the AIs are doing. They're sending over a bunch of submarines to take over coastal cities. But nonetheless, Carthage doesn't have any units, so they'll probably fall here. I mean, there are a lot of units, and there's a lot of different colors, and there's a lot of different AIs at war with Dido, but oh man, their strategies are just not working. So far, 4 Carthaginian cities have fallen, 2 to the Egyptians and 2 to the Spanish. Pretty big deal. Let's see who captures the main 3. All those cities that were taken really weren't the biggest or best cities at all. They were really kind of just minor cities, and honestly, with the resistance and the puppets, and I mean, you could argue that they weren't really that worth it. So it's not really giving that much power to these nations, but still a big deal, still a sign of power, and still kind of new borders. Now look at Spain. Spain and Byzantium have a new border to worry about, a new sort of front, I guess you could say, possibly a front. We'll see. Okay, so let's kind of keep an eye on what's going on with Carthage. So Spain goes first. Actually, Byzantium goes first, and Byzantium completely retreated. They're not going to have any sort of way with that. Now, Byzantium also just declared war on Milan. Boom, there goes that capturing of that first... Oh, it's going to take one more turn. So one more turn, and then the capital of Austria will fall, and then Maria Theresa's gone. She's just gone. Because this is Hungary here. And I don't think Austria had anything else but these cities. And also, you got to remember, look at the new border that's going to form up. Poland versus Russia. Yes. So that will definitely cause some tension in Eastern Europe. That'll be a big deal. And Spain's also still at war with Switzerland. But Switzerland's been having a tough time trying to figure out exactly what they wanted to do. Yeah, they're definitely having a tough time there. France has been pretty dominated. The Celts are still at war with France, but the Celts have been having trouble reinforcing from Ireland towards continental Europe. All right, so let's see what happens. And this is, you got to remember, there's a lot of nations with atomic bombs. A lot. So that's been going on, and it's been pretty exciting. No one has used anything yet. We have yet to see our first A-bomb dropped, I think. I'm pretty sure so far. I don't know if that's... We'll see if that's going to be a theme. I doubt it. It's only turned 475. So who knows what will happen. Okay, so Austria is dead. There's Austria's last turn. Scotland is reinforcing, but they're reinforcing with submarines, a few melee units. Some small melee units. Let's see what you guys are going to do. Carthage's still doing a good job. I mean, hey, if they go down, they're going down with a fight. And they're destroying a lot of units in the process. Aha, now Spain's starting to get the right idea. They're sending over land units from North Africa. Austria's now been destroyed. Austria is gone. Denmark and Poland right after that. Boom. Poland is not wasting any time. They're not now going for Denmark, and they actually share borders with Denmark. Denmark is down to 2 cities now. That is 2 cities. They should easily be able to roll into this city. And if they're smart, and if they have up borders through Scotland, which I believe they do, then they could take Antwerp, which is only going to make the borders so much worse. But still, man, Poland is not relaxing. Maybe Poland's going to be the next nation that really shows their strength, starts to flex their muscles. We saw it from Byzantium first, then it was Spain. Now it'll probably be the Polish Empire. We'll see, though. You never know. Poland could still very much be in that process. Wow. Egypt almost filling out the top 10 cities, except for some of these cities that Byzantium controls. But yeah, no, Egypt's dominating the tourism game. What are my spies saying? Constantinople uncovered that Theodore is plotting against the Celts. Ramses is constructing the space telescope in Thebes. Real quick, now that we saw how much tourism is being generated. Oh, it's a tie between Byzantium and Egypt. It's actually very, very close. The problem is, will those 2 nations become influential with each other? That's the thing. Rising. Byzantium is rising with everybody. Static with who? Oh, that doesn't matter with me. Okay. They're rising with everybody. Wait a second. Now, who are some of the nations they still have to pass up? 10 turns for Scotland. So that won't take too long. They have 11 turns for Germany. 27 turns for Egypt. Wow. Technically, they could do it. In 27 turns, Byzantium could win a cultural victory. Now, let's go ahead and check on Egypt. 27 turns for Byzantium. No freaking way. No way. They had 25 turns for Germany. And then the final one, oh, but with Scotland, they're 35 turns away. That could be the difference maker right there. That could be the big difference maker, as well as you could this campaign could seriously slow down if Egypt attacks Byzantium, or the other way around. It'd probably be obviously Ramses declaring war on Theodora, but still that could happen. We'll have to wait and see. And I know I have to slap down a city. I will probably have to slap down a city. Probably by turn 500 I will. If we're 27 turns away, 500 I'll slap down a city just to make sure that we don't miss a possible cultural victory. So the plan is, at least, I mean, I don't know if this cultural victory is going to happen. I don't know. And you know what's interesting is that Great Firewall really didn't help Russia at all that much. They still, I mean, you know, Byzantium and Egypt were still able to become influential with them. So yeah, we're going to continue on with this campaign. We're going to go past turn 500. If there is a victory, then there's a victory, and then we have to stop it. If there's not a victory, then more than likely by 550 or 600. It depends on how fast the turns are processing, as well as how exciting the campaign remains. Because towards the end of these campaigns, with these great powers kind of absorbing and grouping together and stuff like that, blobbing out, it does sometimes get boring because there's less nations and there's less wars going on. The wars are bigger when they do end up happening, but they're less frequent. So the plan is to go to turn 550, and then we'll do almost an info-addicts victory, except it's going to be a different formula if we get that far. It's possible. You know, those cultural victory, whatever, those really drastically change. So we'll check again in another, like, probably by turn 490. We'll check again. We'll see where it's at by then. But it is very up and down. I'll slap down a city just so I don't miss the possibility of Byzantium winning, maybe squeezing out a victory from Ramses here by turn 500. I'll do that by turn 500 because there's no point in doing it right now. And Carthage is having some major trouble. Or I guess all the cities that are trying to attack Carthage are having some major trouble. The only person that can really do it right now is Egypt, and they're not choosing to do it. They're actually retreating, if anything, which is weird. I don't know if they're planning for a different attack or what. Sung Hai has chosen to not get involved with that. They've stayed away from, I guess, that sort of war or whatever. Let's see how Poland is doing with Denmark. And now the units are starting to get there. Again, watch the Polish Russian front. That's a big deal. That's a new border that will be a really big deal. So we'll have to wait and see. Scotland has peaced out with Carthage. I think Scotland finally realized it's just not worth it, man. It is just not worth it. And he's right. It's not worth it. He's got to stop. He's definitely got to stop. Let's see when Spain realizes it. I'm sure they will soon. And that would leave, well, if Ramses is retreating too, it's been a while. So I guess my prediction was not going to come true. I predicted that by turn 480, Carthage would be dead. Luckily for Carthage, the AI is so dumb. So dumb. So that didn't end up happening. Also, one thing I wanted to mention, with the Info Addicts victory, it wouldn't be the same. I think I mentioned this a little bit, but it would not be the same as the previous Info Addicts victory that we've done before. I feel like that's too basic, and just because one civ dominates the categories in the Info Addicts doesn't necessarily mean that they should be the civ that's crowned the winner. Egypt, there's been previous campaigns where, yeah, there was a civ that dominated in terms of like all the categories, but they weren't anywhere close to a victory. And we still named them the victor, because, you know, they dominated the categories. I don't think that's fair. I think I would try for a new formula that would take into consideration some of the civs that decided to race for the victory instead of just being a dominant, you know, power in one category or something like that. That way it evens itself out. Because obviously Egypt would win right now. But does Egypt really deserve to win at the moment? I mean, you know, you got to take into consideration, what did Egypt do exactly? Egypt did take out Arabia early. They took out Babylon. They took out Assyria. But that's about it. Then they played quiet. There are a lot of other nations that had maybe a little bit more exciting and a little bit more powerful late game pushes. And honestly, I mean, do I think Egypt would be able to survive an attack from, If Russia were to attack from the north, from the former Armenian cities, I don't know if they'd be able to hold that back, to be honest. Look at Russia. Look at Russia. Holy crap. Russia has huge units. I don't know what they're doing with it. Well, wait and see. Wow, look at that paratroopers dropping down. Oh, man, and they're probably going to drop some over here to Antwerp, right? They might. From Rotterdam and then attack from the south. That's going to be difficult to take, but it's possible. It is possible. Too bad for some of these other nations. They weren't really able to get something going. Scotland was not able to get their thing going. And actually, you know, I'm just kind of spitballing here, but and it really depends on what you guys do. If I were to do this, I'd probably do a vote. But we might not stop the campaign just if Byzantium or Egypt were to win a cultural victory. Depending on what you guys want, and we'll see how far away we are by then to turn 550 and what's going on, because I feel like the campaign might be really exciting. We might just continue on after the cultural victory and still doing kind of the info addicts victory. Again, using a new formula this time. So if Byzantium were to win the game, we'd have to give them more points. We'd give them points for that win. We'd give points for maybe, we'd give points to Egypt as well, a little bit, but not as much, because Byzantium pulled out the win. Something like that. Something like that. I'm taking this into consideration. Again, I'm still playing with the idea. We're still a ways away because the turns are processing about like 5 to 8 turns, I think, per video, maybe 10 turns per video. So we'll see. I'm definitely spitballing with all those ideas. Again, but a major factor that I think a lot of people don't realize is that, yes, like depending on how long the turns are processing by the end of the game, I do have to wrap it up at some point. If it gets boring, then I'm gonna wrap it up. You know what I mean? If these turns are becoming like 3 minutes to process, then I've got to end the campaign. So again, all that does factor into it. But anyways, I'm just throwing that idea out there. You guys can let me know, but I'll probably do a vote for it because I do not want to do a dual victor. I did that with the Native American campaign. I don't think I ever want to do that again. I didn't have a problem with it back then, but I do now. I don't think it's fair to name 2 winners. And I agree with those people that thought that wasn't fair. Boom, Denmark gone. Poland has acquired their 3rd city, and their borders are looking good. Those borders are looking real good. Goths are lucky. They've been so quiet. Yeah, no. It would either be the cultural victor or the info addicts victor, not both of them. I don't think that's fair. So, yeah, that's something that I've been kind of playing the idea with. Spain's still going after Switzerland here, even though it's just a rocket artillery and maybe 2 helicopter gunships. They have not given up on their Switzerland's campaign. They're still going for it. Carthage holds these 3 cities still, but Spain is still trying. Problem is Spain is having some mental breakdowns, I guess, with the submarines. Some very big mental breakdowns. This is also this is a good time for Byzantium to rebuild. Byzantium really needs to take off like the next 20 turns, to be honest. They really need to take off the next 20 turns, or else if they don't, then Egypt could be going for something here. Egypt could be trying to be a little bit aggressive. They could declare war and slow down that influential status. But we'll see. Songhai, man, you gotta do something. You gotta do something, Songhai. You haven't been doing anything. You've been quiet, and you've got these great war bombers. You've got all these tanks. You could easily move into anywhere really, really quick. You haven't done anything. All right, so we have to wait and see if Poland does decide to attack Antwerp here. The Celts have declared war on Milan. Scotland certainly reinforcing their newly founded Danish city. Norway's been quiet, and like I've been saying, kind of the Achilles heel to Scotland would be Norway. Ooh, Iceland getting involved with Milan. Oh yeah, you get it, Iceland. Hey, you get it. Hey, Iceland's been not been doing bad. Look at these cities are big. It's funny that their capital is not as big, but hey, actually Scotland could have a little bit of success going after Milan because they have been kind of liked by everybody. The Goths, Sumer going after Milan. No, Iceland's not been doing a bad job. Like, their capital is only at 14 population, but these other 2 cities are at 22, 24. They've got a lot of units, and they're modern. They've been keeping up in technology. I know that I joke around with Iceland the entire time, but man, they've been doing good. Now, if they were a more broken empire here in the British Isles, maybe if Scotland was still divided with England to the south, then I could have seen maybe Iceland grabbing Dundee here, away from Robert. That could have happened. Theodora plotting against the Goths. It's about time someone does something against the Goths. I mean, the Goths have just been chilling forever. There goes the Hubble Space Telescope. And even though Ramses has built all these great works and has got all this, like, tourism, doesn't matter. I think the world is more favorable towards Byzantium. Even though Byzantium doesn't have as many cities with tourism and they don't have as many wonders and stuff like that, they've been lucky. They're in the middle of the map too. That helps out the cultural victory. Egypt is probably it's Scotland. Egypt and Scotland, they're unfamiliar. They don't know who each other are. So that's what's been going on. That's like the biggest problem with Egypt. So even though they had a really good start in the beginning, they were safe. They don't have to worry about a big threat. They only really had to attack one nation at a time. It was Arabia, then it was Assyria, then it was whoever, Babylon. The problem now is starting to come and bite them. It's biting them now at the later part of the game because they're as far away from Scotland. They're so far away from Scotland. I think that's causing their problem. Now, if Scotland were to acquire one of these cities, if they did acquire one of these cities in North Africa, then that would have changed things a lot. But they didn't, which means that Ramses is far away from a victory still. 35 turns away from a victory. Probably not anymore, but yeah. They're still a ways away. Hungary's pieced out with Milan. See, Scotland already has units here. That's why I'm saying that they could have some success. Remember, Byzantium is also at war with Milan, So keep that into consideration. Spain going after Bern here. There's only 2 units. There are only 2 units. I'm surprised that Scotland hasn't decided to go to war with Switzerland. And no, I don't think that Poland is going to attack Antwerp from the north. I think Poland is good for now. I think they're going to abstain from that. Poland's looking good, though. And really, now Poland only borders some powerful nations. I could see maybe the Goths could fall. This could be some good cities for the Goths to take, or to be taken away from Gothic lands to the Polish Empire, or even look at how massive the Russian army is. Like, that is crazy. And it's mainly because they're not coastal, so they don't have the opportunity to build ships, even if they wanted to. So a lot of these other guys, they are coastal, so they've been building ships and stuff like that. But not for Russia. Russia's just been building land units, and that's a big deal. That's been helping. Lots of trade going back and forth between Catherine and Theodora. Lots of trade. Let's see what Spain does. I'm actually interested to see exactly if Spain's going to continue to push for Bern. It looks like they are. And they're bringing in their air force. They've got bombers here. They've got an infantry unit. They need a little more. They need more stuff, though. They do need more things. And here are some workers working on the infrastructure inside of Iberia. Pretty good. It's a pretty smart move there. How's North Africa looking? Again, I don't know if Spain just doesn't have that much production or what, but man, they're just not building as many units, I feel like, as other nations are. But then again, I guess Byzantium hasn't been building that many units, but a lot of their cities are puppeted. They've been building submarines. They've just been building like non-stop submarines. Which is good if Egypt ever tried something. Because Egypt would have to embark. They'd have to bring that to the Eastern Mediterranean. Or if the Hittites try something, that'd be good. Although it wouldn't help out for the land units, but still. Embargo of Norway in the International Space Station. Why are you trying to enact this stuff, man? Can you not see that only domination and cultural victories are possible? Usually the AI is good with that, but you never know. Some of these mods, they could change some things. Germany's been quiet ever since they lost their northeastern German Empire to the Russians. They haven't really done anything else, as well as they really don't have land units to do anything, even if they wanted to. Anyways, guys, I'm going to end it right here. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.